You're starting off I like to it. Perfect. And we are live. I
What
want
else?
to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a wonderful guest who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the incredible businesswoman, registered nurse, motivational speaker, and just TikTok extraordinaire herself. None other than Shona P. How are you doing, ma'am?
I am just peachy this morning. Well, actually, this afternoon now, at this point of the day. I'm doing well. I'm happy. I'm here and I am ready to share. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. Okay. Well, the first thing that we people want to know is I have interviewed guests from all over, but you're the first guest that I got from TikTok comments, which is like incredible. Like, somebody I saw on TikTok, you had an extraordinary testimony on a video that I saw. I had to reach out to you to bring you on. Let's start with the story and how it all transpired.
So I was flipping through TikTok and there, of course, we have to be sensitive with our words. And the young lady, what she said was, my mother's boyfriend gave me his mascara. So, I mean, for those of us who wear makeup, a mascara, you pull it out and put it in. So that's code for penetration. And now I have two products of that. And I just simply commented under her under her page and said, my mother's boyfriend gave me his lipstick and possibly his mascara, and she unalived him. And I got like 6 or 7 thousand comments and shares and story times and asking me for all these things. I'm like, oh my God, it was so overwhelming just because I know that every little girl wasn't so lucky. And so I started sharing bits and pieces just by answering questions and telling my story. And it's crazy just how many women like I'm healed just through that. Just through you telling us what someone will do for you, I am healed.
Mm.
And now we're here.
Yes, ma'am. Extraordinary. Now, what? First of all, salute to your moms.
Yeah.
Shout out to your mother for stepping up. Now, what? How did you tell her? And then what was the initial reaction? And then what transpired?
Okay, so my mother had me when she was 19 years old. So I was about 4 at the time. And what happened was she met this guy, I want to say like in some type of GD class because she was going to night school because she had dropped out. I was her second child by 19. And I remember him coming to the house once and just piercing, just watching me, just looking at me all the time. But whatever. So as their relationship progressed, like he would just do like little bitty things in front of her, like just always wanted me to sit on his lap or always want to hug me or touch me in some type of way. And I think my mother just kind of started noticing it. So one day she just asked me, she's like, has anyone ever touched you? Now, let me give you some background about my mom. My mother was very domesticated. She was at home. She just at home. We never went to daycare. Like I'm talking about, I didn't even know what McDonald's was until I got older because my mother, she was an at-home mom. So she watched me. And as you can see, I'm chunky, smaller than I've ever been in my adult life. But she said I started gaining a lot of weight. And she just didn't know like where was it coming from because she cooked all of our meals, we're pretty active, and she just didn't understand where this weight gain was coming from. So she just simply asked me, Jay, like she just said, has anybody been touching you? And I was just like, well, yeah. And she asked me what, and I told her, and she called him right in front of me on the phone. She was like, like I told people, we were poor, so we didn't even have a phone. We were at our neighbor's house, and we were in the bathroom, and she called him and she said, my daughter said that you've been touching her. And I can hear him through the phone, like, no, she's lying. Fuck that. Da, 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 da. I would never do anything like that. And she's like, no, my baby's not lying to me. But, you know, okay. And that's all I remember. It was just okay. It wasn't anything outside of that. But he was abusive to her. So even before that happened, let's talk about the abuse. Like my mother was the baby girl of 6 boys. So my mama got some hands. You know what I mean? And I just remember a lot of fighting. And I want to say it could have even been over me. You know what I mean? just him want to be too close, and she wasn't playing none of that. So mom had to be in about 24 at the time, a kid for real. And I just remember he would like fight on her all the time. And I mean, it's been some time. She gave him a run for his money. You know what I mean? But that's nothing that you can sustain. I mean, it was so bad that even his brothers would intervene. Like, if you touch her again, like, I'm about to put you down.
Mm.
Now, mind you, my mother had 6 big brothers. So, and she was raised with her father. So 2-parent dynamic household, 6 brothers, even the baby brother was very protective over her. And even I, like, as I became an adult, I was able to ask a few questions. And I was like, well, why didn't you tell your brothers or your dad? She said, I couldn't have his blood on their hands like that. Like, I wasn't willing to they have their own families. So this night in particular, so he would come, like, I want to say he probably abused drugs, because just high and drunk. He would like bust her windows out. Now, mind you, my mother's a single mom who didn't work. So replacing windows is a big deal. So he came to our house on this particular night, high and drunk. Like, if you don't open this door, I'm going to bust every window out of your car. I'm going to flatten all your tires. I'm going to do the most. Now, this is after they've had the conversation that you've been touching my baby, and this is about the end for you. And so she let him in because she didn't want him to mess up the car. And I just remember him, like, he legit undressed me in front of my mom, just taking my clothes off. And she like, please don't do that. You know, like, please don't touch my babies. Do not touch my children. And my mom, very, very, very traditional. When men talking about submissive women and traditional women and domesticated, that was her. But she was also really, really religious, like really big into church and stuff. And she was like, you know, just praying, like, please don't do that. You know, I'm asking you nicely not to do that to my baby. And he's just like, you know, fuck you, and I'll do what I want to do type shit. And he steady taking my clothes off. And so in my bedroom, me and my big brother share the room. So our bed's like side by side. And he took my mattress and pushed it off the bed. And my brother, who's 2 years older than me, he was like, now you pick it up. And she just like, will you just leave? Like, just go ahead and go. He wouldn't leave, but he used to have this really big, thick leather belt. And he hit my mother with it. It's like, shut up, boom, and just hit her. And I remember her disappearing for what it felt like an eon, but I know it was only a few seconds. And when she came back, my mother, have you seen Woman King?
Of course. Of course.
I'm talking about straight warrior. Like, I remember she hit him with one hand and she stuck him with the other. And she did not stop. And my brother grabbed me and we ran next door to call the police and everything. And by the time she came back, you know, she crying and she just like, oh my God, you know, she just called, oh my God, like God, like she just really went into a deep prayer. And she was just like, she was praying, but she was cussing like, that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, that motherfucker ain't dead. And she like, he got to go. You know what I mean? At that point, it didn't even matter. So she had on this white gown, a silk white gown, all the way down to her feet, and it was just covered in blood. And it seemed like, it's crazy because we never really lived too far from my grandparents. And it seemed like the police showed up, and then her dad, my grandfather, was there. And she had on, you know, she's about to put her coat on and she praying. She's just like, Lord, are these your angels you said that you would protect me with? You said that you would protect me if I protect. I mean, she was, I'm talking about, I know she was probably speaking tongues and this, and like I got goosebumps right now because it's like, it seemed like yesterday now. And she's like, just going into prayer mode and just talking to the police. I mean, she mostly calm. And so when my grandfather got there, she's like, well, okay, come on, kids, let's go. And the police officer's like, Mrs. So-and-so, I'm not going to say her name because that man had a family. You can't leave. Like, we have to arrest you. And she's like, for what? And I really feel like my mother probably did blank out. Because she's like, I don't understand. Arresting me for what? And they say, you know, a man has lost his life and blah, blah, blah. And when my grandfather was there, she was just like, no, I'm finna go home. Like, my daddy's here to get me now. Y'all got to handle this. So I'm done with it. And said, no, you know, we got to take you to, you got to go. We have to take you down there. And so, she didn't resist. She was just like, okay. They didn't even put handcuffs on my mom because I know they saw her as a hero as well. And yeah, so grandpa came and we stayed the night at his house. At this point, by the time we got there, all the uncles are there. They like loading up their guns. They like, we about to take this whole family. Like, it's about to go down. This my baby sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got us messed up. Because even a couple times, the guy didn't live too far from one of her biggest brothers. And I remember him coming to the house like, I'm prepared to die tonight. What are you prepared to do? And I would guess that he couldn't have been that much older than my mom. I don't even know. I would have to ask her. I try not to ask too much because I don't want to put her back in that space. And she did what she had to do. And I guess for me, the reason why I don't feel traumatized behind it is because she closed the chapter. It's not like he went to jail for 10 years and got out. Now he's doing, because he never would have stopped. That was really, really strange. And I'm just thinking like, I think I was probably triggered when I saw that because I have a 5-year-old now, a 5-year-old daughter. And I'm just looking at her like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing sexy about her. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm thinking like, how many girls did he hurt before me? How many would he have continued to hurt? And I just remember my mama saying like, and this is why I don't put my real name and stuff out there. Like, and she said that when it happened, she was like, when he told me that, when we went through that little motion, she said, I went to my daddy's house to get his peace. And she said her best friend begged her, please. She's like, you can't, please don't. She said, I told one person what I was going to do because it was I already knew what was going to happen. So I didn't say nothing. But I knew if he came to my house, I wasn't going to go to him. I knew he was going to come to me. There's a 24-year-old woman, high school dropout. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to take care of her children. I had a cousin who we're the same age. And she is addicted on heroin so bad. And I know it's simply because her mother did not believe her. Like and my mother was telling her, like, your daughter is not lying. And you need to do something to protect her. I like, even my mom was like, nope, she coming over here with us. Like anytime it was a man over there, nope, she coming over here with us because my mom knew what was going on. Her mother didn't protect her. And she out there bad, like bad. And I guess for me, now what life did I live after that? My mama wouldn't let me do shit, y'all. I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't do nothing. If it was a man close, hell no. I couldn't, if my friends, I could only go to single mom's house. Like if there was a daddy there, oh no, can't go over there. So that put her into such a protective mode that I missed out on a little bit of life. And even like reading all those other women's stories behind mine, like to hear how their uncles and their brothers and that cousin, I had a cousin that tried it. He, and this was like after my abuse happened. But the crazy thing was because I wasn't around men outside of my uncles, my father, we'll talk about that too. My father lived in another state. And it's almost like I thought that was what boys were supposed to do. Like my brother never crossed line, but like when I seen other men and my mother eventually got married, and my stepfather, he's a good man. You know what I mean? Never crossed the line, never any of those things. So when I hear those stories, I am so mind blown. I am so mind blown because how? A lot of people want to know what my relationship is like with my mother today. And you probably never would have thought that's what she did for me because we're not very close. And I think it's just for other reasons. But when it comes down to, I will say this though, when it comes down to her going into her protection mode, she still will. Like if I call I'm 42 years old, I'm 13 hours away from my mama. Let me call her crying. Let me call her and say somebody did something. And I'm like, she on her way. I mean, to the point where she had to get jiggy with one of my brother's now wife, baby mama, because she kept saying, "No, I'll kill him. I'll da 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 da." And she like, little girl. She said, "Listen, now I've been down this road. Now you probably ain't took a life before, but I have." and I will again over my kids, because they know fighting that she will fight on him. And one day I think she had hit him with something because, can't control him. So real violent. That's just kind of how she was grown up, whatever. And my mother told her, she said, I watch your kids. Some of them belong to me and some of them don't. Do your children come home with bruises on them? I don't hit your children. If you put your hands on my son again, I'm going to show you what I'm about. And I'm willing to sit down for the rest of my life about it. Don't put your hands on my child. Because I know for a fact he's not putting his hands on you. Don't do that to my baby. Like, please don't do that to my kid. So it's just something about her. Like, you can do her and talk to her bad and nasty and do whatever. But when it comes down to those kids, it's a different type of monster. And that's why I don't tell my mama nothing, because I know she gonna ride for me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm talking about even on down to my jobs. Who got a problem with my daughter? I'm like, oh my God. Nobody has a problem with me, mom. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody's hurting me right now. So, but we're not that close. And it did change her. I mean, even to where I remember, like, somebody even tried to mention, like, bringing that back up in her past. And she just said, no, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. And even, I mean, and she's like super protective, even over my daughter, like, don't sit like that or don't this. Or I'm like, mom, just let her be a kid. It's okay. Nobody's, my kids, and I'm a lot like my mother when it come down to certain stuff. They go to daycare, but I don't do like overnight stays or anything like that. No, I ain't with none of that. And to be honest with you, I have a 15-year-old son and I'm a single mom. And so the things that I tell him, I'm like, I know you're going into a different phase in your life with the girlies, and all this, that, and the third. I say, but I'm here to tell you, I know what a mother will do for her kids. Don't fuck with nobody kids, bro. I'm telling you, because I don't want to have to put you down. Because when it comes to certain things, I'm no tolerant too. And the only way, you got to, so I teach them, like, being in the present. I say, I don't know what it's like to be a man because I'm not one, but I know what it feels like to be creeped out by one. Like, totally creeped out. Don't be a creeper. You know what I mean? And somebody say no, that's what they mean. I don't care if you in mid-stroke. If she, like, ain't feeling it, get up. And even if she tell you to come back, tell that broad next time. Because right now, once she say no, it's a done deal. Because can nothing get you out of that? Nothing can get you out of that. And I would say I'm very lucky to have her. I'm very lucky to have a mother to protect me to the ultimate level. She spent one night in jail, and it's so funny. I'm gonna give you backstory. So I don't even know how old I was when she told me this. She was like, shit, it's my mama. Because my mama thug for real, baby. I'm talking about she'll smoke her. My mom will smoke weed and read the Bible at the same time. You hear me? I'm like, is that the right thing? She's like, God created this for me. So she real weird like that. So she was telling me that, oh God, I was about to give you a good story. What I was gonna say. So her night in jail. So she said she was in the jail cell by herself, and it was real late at night. So, some of the streetwalker ladies were in jail, and she said that she was in there praying. She said her little window had a little light from the post. So she said she was just praying, like, God, I know that you're going to cover me. And, basically asking for forgiveness too, because she know what she did was really big. And she said that she was on her knees praying, and they was like, I don't know what you're praying for God for. He ain't gonna do shit. Da, da, da. She said, I stopped in my prayer and said, bitch, if you knew I was in here, you would shut the fuck up talking to me. And then she said, I went back into my prayer mode. I said, wow. I said, Mama, you said that? She said, yeah, don't listen. Leave me alone. You see, we in here for different reasons. And I'm still in full protection mode. Leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, wow. So my mom, I really feel like, should be crowned as woman king, because that was the, I'll show you a picture of my mom.
Hey.
That's me. That's my son, who's now 15, and that's my baby sister.
Beautiful.
And I don't know. I don't know. I probably would have needed a lot of therapy had she not, but I am still, like, super creeped out by guys. Like, I don't prefer to be alone with them when it comes to, unless I invited you in my space, I don't want to be in it. You know what I mean? And I'm very, very cautious. Like I said, I'm a single mother. I got 3 kids by 3 men. That's how much I love them so much. I gave them their own dads. And like with my daughter, I was dating this guy for a little while, and he has a 7-year-old daughter. And I'm like, we really have to have a real conversation. I said, there's no man better suited for my daughter than her father. It's just, I don't even want to be in that space. I don't want to have to think about those things. And I will tell you this, just because you're your daddy, I still look at you with the third eye too, because I'm a mom. I'm a mom who has been hurt before. So I watch everything. And I've even had to tell him, because he's used to boys. I'm like, she's not a boy. There's just certain things you cannot do. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it would trigger something different in me. Because I'm like, the first time I'm going to tell you, the next time I won't be so kind. And it's nothing crazy. It's like maybe holding her with, his hands. But like how you pick the kid up and they just kind of would let, we're not doing any of that. You know what I mean? No, because I can't see that. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just, and I share with him, I'm like that because of my own personal things that has happened to me. And I have not fully disclosed to him what has happened. Most of my friends know, I just tell them like this, my mother has taken a life and the apple does not fall too far from the tree. And you can take that however you need to. But I'm willing to, I will go the limit for mine. And I feel like every parent would, or every parent should, I know like a lot of people like, oh, your mama's the gold and this, that, and the third. But I tell them, I'm like, y'all, it took a lot and it changed her. It changed her forever. Her growth was stunted, like her skin color changed. Like that was a big deal. And she had to muscle through that. And she never got therapy. Like she never went to talk to anybody. When I say just went back to business as usual, now we did move out of town. I feel like shortly after that, we lived in Kansas City for a little while, but my mom was a real princess. Like she was the youngest girl with 2 kids. So all her brothers took care of her. She had her parents. So our life is not the same. I'm like, well, why you didn't give me a daddy in the same house? But about my father, it built a lot of resentment. I had so much resentment against him because I'm like, where were you? Where were you? And how come you didn't come for us? You know what I'm saying? So my father is 7 years older than my mom. So by the time this happened, he was already in his 30s. How could you have not? And I asked him like, so I was so angry. I had to say, well, did you even know? Did you know? And he was just like, well, I kind of found out on the back end, but at what point did you come for us? You know what I'm saying? My mom should not have had to do that at no 20-some years old. And then I think about, do you know how much strength she had to have to put a man down? Men are strong, just on their own. And I'm just thinking like, dang, man, that means she had the strength of 10 bears. You know what I'm saying? And go, mom. And I often tell her, thank you. Like, thank you for protecting me. Like, I know, like, we going through a lot of trauma and we all looking back on what our parents did, but ain't nobody giving them kudos to them parents who actually did the thing. No, we didn't have a lot of money. Yes, I didn't even know we was poor, but we didn't have anything, but I had what I needed. You know what I'm saying? And even though I look back at other people's situations who had more than me then, but now we live different lives. And I don't know, man. I'm just happy that she did what was necessary to protect me. For real. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. And Shona P, people are showing you love all across the country. Shout out to your moms. Okay. I think your mom's is actually watching. Well, no,
is she watching?
Somebody says, yeah, I think this is her. She said your mama would do it again if need be. She smiled in a mugshot.
That's my
mom. My sister Miriam says, may God continue to bless you and protect your family. Thank you for sharing your story. Your mom's, it says hello to the host. The part of the brain that holds trauma has no concept of time. Beautiful. My sister Naima says peace, family, and everybody's just showing you love. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. No, she said no, she's your friend. That's not your mama.
Oh, Shanice. It's probably Shanice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't know. I didn't want to say the name. Mess it up because you didn't say no
That's
name.
not good. It's probably Shanice. I told her to
Okay.
tune in.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
told her, I said, I'm a legend girl.
Well, Shanice,
But Shanice knows my mom. She know how mama slick at the lip when she gotta be, but like I said, it's mostly when it comes to her kids. Like, even, I've been married before and I was like, oh, me and my husband about to break up. She crying. I'm telling you, y'all, my mama, it's like something triggers her when I'm hyper independent. And so she know, like, for me to cry, that means it is something heavy. And I'm telling you, man, she be ready to, baby, I'm talking about knock everything out her way trying to get to us. Now, I did mention that I have a big brother. I don't think anything happened to him, but I mean, he even did some things like with him being very, very close to me. And I was just like, I remember, I think maybe we talked about it once when we were kids. I'm just like, he put his mouth in certain places and you know what? I wonder if he told her. Oh my goodness. Because I told him. I wonder if he told her. And now I'm going to have to ask him. I wonder if that's what happened. Because he came into our room one Saturday morning, did some stuff with his mouth. And my brother was in the room. Where could mom have been? I don't know, maybe a shower or something, And damn, I wonder if he told her. I'm gonna have to ask her.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And thank you, Shona P, for your transparency and your honesty. And shout out to your friend. Can't wait to put this on YouTube so we can help affect people all over the world. My question for you is, what can parents do? Mothers, but especially fathers. I'm an uncle, very protective and things like that, to believe their children, to do better of hearing their children tell the stories and believing them. What can we do?
Well, first of all, you have to be present. A lot of mothers, like me, I'm a single mom. I work 2 jobs. You know what I'm saying? So this is when to go back to where a woman's place really and truly is at home. Had my mother been working and doing this and doing that and doing that, she would have missed that. You know what I'm saying? She would have missed that. But because she was an at-home mom and she paid attention to her child, she didn't. So, but all of us are not able to do that. I'm not even able to do that. And first of all, I enjoy working. I think even if I had to, I like going to work. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be ruin no kid. I just listen. Kids just happen to me. I'm supposed to be somebody's finance auntie all my life, but no, they just had to seal the deal. Okay. But just being available to your children, spending that one-on-one time. Like I said, we never even went to daycare. She was I don't think, hell, my mom didn't even go to work. She went to work for a short period of time, but guess what? When I became a teenager, she was like, shit, I can't work. I got a teenage daughter. Wasn't working. Nope. I got to be at home to watch and see what was going on. So, guys, if you are able to put, and I even feel like, even if it's, we'll say a low title as a baby mom, like, if you're not doing everything you can to ensure that she is at home more than not, shame on you. Because working all these jobs and putting people, a lot of times it's just like, I would never leave my kids with my boyfriend. I'm not doing that. I don't have to do that. I would almost rather live in poverty than leave my children with a boyfriend. Now, with one of their fathers, I have been lucky enough. I know how to entertain a good man, and I have good men in my life. I got 3 kids, 3 fathers, and I ain't complaining about none of them. And anybody who know me, no, because I didn't have kids at a young age. I was old having children. Like, I'm 42 years old. Well, 41 years old. My baby just turned 5. So I was already a seasoned woman before I started bringing children into this life. And their dads, I got good men in my life. I do. And I be so confused, like, how y'all, now, they don't mean I have my fair share of F-boys, because I have, but you have fun with them. You don't make them your man. You don't give them kids. you have fun and move on or get rid of whatever you got. So, so for me, I was really lucky. So even once I got married and I was a ready-made family already, um, I didn't have to work. Now I worked while we were dating, but I had no idea once we got married and I was like trying to go to nursing school and stuff, I didn't have to work. So I was able to hone in on my mom's skills, hone in on being a good wife because I wasn't boggled by the stresses of the world and performing outside of the home. So if your kids now, and here's another thing, you got to know your kid. Like I know when my kids lying ass. Like my little boy tried to say he was in trouble. So he said, somebody touched my butt. Nobody touched your butt, boy. Like you're trying to get out of this. Like stop it. So I'm just like, what happened? What did it do? But I know my kid, so I knew he wasn't telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? So knowing your child, knowing when they lie, knowing when they're honest. I know my kids lying because it's just be so different. And investigate. Call them out. So-and-so said you did this to them. And believe them. Believe them until something really says something different. Immediately stop, cut it off. If you believe that your kids are being abused in any type of way, cut it off right in there because we get blamed for everything anyway, the mamas do. But you got to intervene and just believe them and do your own investigation. I think the worst thing you can tell a person is that didn't happen to you. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst thing you can say is that didn't happen to you. So believe them, do your investigation, however see fit. But my mother wasn't taking no for an answer because she knew me. And I think she kind of like started watching. Like I said, we would go, I remember it was like, I guess a barbecue or something at his home. And he like set me on his lap. My mom was like, go out there and play with them kids. Man, my daughter don't have no place sitting on no grown man lap. And, they got into it over there. Like, no. So it's just watching those little bitty things, watching how somebody care for your kids. I think I shared a little bit with you on the phone the other day that I have breast cancer. And I've already been through one surgical procedure. I'm gearing up for a bilateral mastectomy. And I was dating this guy and he like, I want to be there for you, blah, blah, blah. I said, listen, thank you for wanting to be there. I say, but I couldn't even bathe myself just after having my breast augmented, getting the cancer out. I could not I still give my daughter baths. You are not qualified to bathe my child. Hell no. And I'm not saying that there's anything about you, but I'm not going to put you in a position to do anything. You see what I'm saying? So it's just even that. And I know that some moms like me, I live 13 hours from their dad. But when I tell you they coming for me, daddy just got here, just landed. When I say I need help or when it's then the third, they are coming for me. They're not leaving me out here by myself. And like I told them, I appreciate that, but no, sir. Because if I can't bathe me and I bathe my daughter, no one needs to see the little hoo-ha but me and her dad. And he's coming for her. Even if I have to send her there, he is qualified to care for her. And I trust him. So some moms are not that lucky. And I know that. And some moms are so desperate for a second set of hands that they have to turn the other cheek to their children being abused. And I was watching something the other day when a young man, I think he was 27 years old, and he was ranting and raving like, I got 7 kids, I got 7 baby mamas. And I'm just like, and he wanted, and it is our responsibility. But we can say that the women are probably just as young or younger than him. Because you ain't doing this to no seasoned woman. And I'm not gonna step up and I'm not gonna do this. And he probably ain't. But some mothers are in those positions to where they do anything for help. I mean, you don't even know how many times I had to put my kids to sleep and go to the store. I remember one time a house burned down and kids burned. The mama had to go run and do something. And I have some friends who they have a 2-parent household. They're married and they don't know what it feels like to have to sacrifice that to go to the store and go do this. Because you can't take 5 and get. I don't even want to take 1 kid to the store with me, let alone 5. And people do not understand when you are forced into certain positions that you do what you have to do. And, I have nieces and I have goddaughters, and I tell them all the time to protect your womb. I have a little niece now. She's 19 years old. And I said, do you what do you think about marriage? Do you want a husband? Because I feel like and I know I'm probably going off on a tangent, so stop me if I'm going too far away.
Take your time.
But this all goes back to your foundation in your home, right? So I said, what are your views on marriage? Do you plan on getting married? Because I feel like Black women, we're not taught not to love Black men, but we are taught to be secure. Go do everything you need to do to be secure. And she said, well, no, I don't really believe in marriage and blah, 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 blah. I'll say, okay, cool. So I know that you would never give me great nieces and nephews because you are not to give nobody who is not your husband a child, period. Don't give no man who don't think enough of you to marry you a child. Don't do it. I said, because let's look at history. Your grandmother, well, she's married to my dad. Her grandmother was married to my father. That didn't work. Your mom, she hasn't been married yet. I was married, but I'm not married now, so I'm still single mom. I said, you're not better than us. So what do you think you have coming? I said, it's hard. Being a mom, ain't nothing glorifying about it. On top of being so desperate to need help, and you put you and your children in a vulnerable situation, getting your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? So I know all men are not like that. I said, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about the ones who are like that. I said, so we're not giving these men children. No. My son, my 15-year-old son, what I tell him, I said, the worst thing you can do is give a broad a baby who you don't even like. I said, that is going to cause for a lot of problems. I said, I got 3 kids by 3 men. I said, you bet your ass all their incomes is right here. I said, now, could you imagine? I said, even if you made $100,000, if you got 3 baby mamas in 3 different households, and then you got the nerve to try to have your own too, it ain't enough. It's not enough. And I feel like, now my mom, as I told you, she was very like religious and stuff like that. So she would say things to me like, save yourself for your husband, save yourself for God. But she didn't give me a lot of background. She didn't give me a lot of description of why I'm doing it. She just told me to do it. And I didn't understand why, but those are the things that I tell the young ladies because, we don't want to put ourselves in a super vulnerable situation. And don't get me wrong, even though you get married, that does not guarantee anything. I said, but the stakes are higher. The stakes are higher. I said, and then men view that different too, because they look at you as being preserved for however long you were married, because you wasn't out here navigating all these different men, right? Trying to date and try to do this and the third. I said, so people look at me like, but you were married. I said, yeah, but not very long. And you know what I mean? Or whatever. But protecting your womb, because again, we control who's born into this world, and you should always go into a situation. I said, I don't even tell dudes I'm on birth control or any of those things, because you still got to be careful with your seed, because if God want a kid here, it's busting through all that. It ain't going to matter. No, for real, right? Like I know people personally who has gotten pregnant with the IUD. Right? So if you don't have sex, you know for sure that you won't. You know what I mean? But I think that's probably a little hard to ask people, because I'm like, hell, we all been skin to skin since we came out the womb. So we're accustomed to it. But I tell her, I said, when you decide to be intimate with a man, you better think about, is he worthy of being a father? Because if you do it enough, it's gonna happen. I know. If you do it enough, it's gonna happen.
Yes, ma'am.
But for the moms out there who are struggling, I love you. And I know that it's hard. Protect your babies by any means necessary. And sometimes that just means that you're going to have to ride some shit out for some years. You're gonna, like even with my friends who like, oh, they've been in relationships forever, and then they're like, I'm gonna leave my blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shit, girl, listen, they all pretty much the same. But the next one you got to worry about doing your daughter or even your son. So sometimes when we're moms, sometimes we just got to sit it out and ride it out until our kids are of age to talk to us. I allow my kid maybe a little bit too much mouth. I allow him to talk back to me, because how do I expect for him to go out into the world, right? And we want our kids to speak up for themselves, but we don't even let them speak up to ourselves here. within reason. Now you're gonna be respectful because I still smack shit out of you, right? But within reason, I do allow myself, because sometimes I'm wrong, and I will humble the hell out of myself to my kids, and I say, I am sorry, I crossed the line, I didn't believe you, and you proved something different. So I do allow my kids, especially the older one, to kind of, give me some feedback, which God is in a different place right now because now he give me too much feedback. Excuse me. But but just love on your kids. Let them know first that when you give them a certain type of love, can't just know anybody come in and show them some bare minimum. And that doesn't look like every pair of Jordan. It doesn't. That look like I don't know, like I date my son, like not date, that sound weird, but we have a lot of one-on-one time so we can talk, because when we're running, we're yelling and da-da-da-da-da. But I like to give him them life lessons when I am calm, I am positive, and I am thinking things through to be respectful to him, even though like I'm a candle maker, right? And he was doing some dumb stuff. I said, okay, so he's a kid, so I got to bring it down some. And I had a candle burning. I said, you're the flame. I said, you're the flame. I said, I'm the wax. I said, and your dad is the vessel. So he protects us, then the wax protect. I said, now, do you know why I don't let this candle burn all night? I got to blow it out. I said, because it has potential of burning this motherfucker down. That's why you watch the flame. I said, you're my flame. And I'm going to put you out when you overstep your boundaries.
Mm.
Okay? You understand?
Beautiful. Okay. And people showing you love all across the country. My sister's name says great advice. Your friend, Shanice says always. Brother Nelson Ramos, welcome back from our Latino family. Massachusetts holding it down. And thank you, everybody. We can't wait to put this on YouTube. We have 2 more questions for our guests, and we're just excited. And Shanice says she likes that candle flame thing. Burn the house down. All right. Beautiful. Okay. I'm a fan of music. What is your favorite album of all time, man?
Ooh, of all time?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh. Okay, so when I was a kid, my mother used to play this album. I believe the group, I want to say it was maybe even husband and wife, but it was called Nicholas. I would have to get it, but that was my favorite record because I'm gonna sing just a small part of it, and it comes back to me when I need it. And it goes something like this, but she changed the lyrics to us. She said, I remember the time when I was late on my job. Hold on, let me go back. But Jesus said, I am your redemption, and I never lost a case. He touched my body, I jumped up. You should have seen the doctor's face. I'm gonna tell somebody. I just can't keep it to myself. God's been so good to me. I would have to say that and the Clark sisters.
Okay, so you like gospel. Okay, you went gospel. Okay, you went gospel. All right. Okay, good.
But of all time, I know I'm safe. That takes me back to a real safe place. Of course, if I had to really go there, y'all already know I'm for Beyonce. I mean, check out the hair for God's sakes, right? But the things that keep me safe and keep me like, you know what I'm saying, staying in good, it would be that. It would have to be that.
Okay, perfect. We have a quick 60-second commercial for our sponsors, and then we want to know how can we promote and support your candle business.
Okay.
Everybody, 1 second. Here we go.
Now I want to find the record.
Television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All 3 available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon.
Perfect. All right. Thank you to all the sponsors.
No father, no excuse. I love that.
Okay, well, let me know what you think about it. When you get my book on Amazon, let me know what you think.
Real, I love that. Let me can you text that to me?
Oh, I am.
So I can get that. I really do love that because it be seeming like they learn everything else off TV, but learn except for how to be the Huxtables.
Yes. Okay, so now what we want to know, ma'am, is how can we support your candle business?
Yes. Okay, y'all. So first of all, making candles it brings me so much joy and peace. I usually I do it when the kids go down, play me some R&B, and I go in. So I don't have a website because y'all, that stuff is hard. It is like I'm telling you, you entrepreneurs, y'all are the goats, especially the ones who are like off the radar entrepreneurship. Like, no, I'm gonna need to be on somebody 9 to 5, baby, because I don't do enough. But my pouring has a new purpose, you guys. As I explained a few minutes ago, I have treatable, beatable breast cancer, and I am gearing up to go out for a bilateral mastectomy that's going to sit this beautiful, bubbly girl down for about 2 months, but really 3 because I'm going out a little early because my job is doing some things. So I'm going out on short-term disability leave sooner than I thought. And right now I am hosting a raffle. It'll be tonight on Facebook at 8:15. I am raffling off 4 of these bad boys, 13-ounce candles. Can I hold them all?
Absolutely.
I have room sprays and melts. I'm gonna send whoever win gonna get a good win. You're gonna be okay for a while. One of these big candles go for $24. My raffle tickets are $15 a piece. 1 for $15, 5 for $50. You can drop your money to me, Cash App, Venmo, Apple Pay. I am money sign Candlebae, CANDLEBAE 81. That is my Cash App. If you're on Facebook, you can hit me up on Salts and Scents, SALTS_N_Cents, SCENTS, or you can find me on Facebook under DPenn, DEEPENN. Of course, I'm on TikTok too. Again, I don't have a website just because, for a few reasons. One, that helps me connect with my customers because we talk direct, and they keep the price of my candles down. I mean, I don't, somebody got to pay for it. It ain't going to be me. So I try to keep the costs down by not having a website. I do everything by hand on my own. And that's just what it is. So it feeds my family right now. I'm a registered nurse by trade. I am a life coach and a keynote speaker. And hopefully those things will take me out of the environment that I'm in. I really do. I love being a nurse, y'all. Like, if you've ever been any of it, like one of my patients, I know that you're in love with me because they always are. Because when I go, I give everything I have. I do. Like, I just do, y'all. Even though I be like, I don't feel like doing this. Then, hey. And then I just feel so bad. I'm like, oh my God, you need your ass clean. Cool. No, for real. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, I had one patient, y'all. She was probably about 600 or 700 pounds, really big lady. I was big and pregnant. And she had visibly wet the bed. And I work nights. So I'm just thinking, like, who the hell didn't let you sit in this? Oh, so I'm pissed. And I'm just like, okay. I said, we gotta get you clean. I said, I can't let you stay like this all night. And she's just like, well, no, you're pregnant. I said, listen. I said, can you hold on to this bed? If I roll you, can you hold? She said, yes. I said, if you help me, I'm not only gonna give you a whole bath, but I'm gonna change your sheets. So she said, you are? I said, I am. Baby, by the time we got down there, got done, she was in tears because people were so turned off by her weight and didn't want to get in there. I said, listen, you somebody mama or granny, sister, you are connected to somebody, and I do not want them coming up in there knowing that my name is on your record and I let you sit like this. And you were willing to do it too. Not on D's watch. We ain't doing none of that. I'm taking care of, like, I mean, it's just, that's what I'm here for. Like, I feel like a lot of times I'm underserved. Like I'm not a floor nurse. I work in the I run the weight loss surgery program, which they call is bariatric. I run the bariatric program at my hospital, and I'm not enough people in front of enough people. Just because it's more like an admin job. But when I see my patients, I go all out just because I need to be around people, and that's what I love to do. And I even be praying about. I'm like, Lord, I have a gift that I have not tapped in, and I need you to use me because I know there is someone out there that I am going to help change their life tremendously. And so I don't know who you are, but I'm coming for you. Okay. I'm coming for you. Just know that. Know that. So my candles, Berry Bell Candle Company, and I have lots of different flavors, y'all. But if you can support me, please buy a raffle ticket. All it takes is one. You don't have to buy five, but you can buy five. $15. I think a Big Mac meal is about more than that. So if you could be so kind, I'm doing a big winner, which will get the 4 candles, and then I'm doing a second, third, and fourth place winner as well.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. People are showing you love all across the country. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. Your best friend says yes, beatable breast cancer, treatable, beatable breast cancer. A great friend. This woman has been a go-getter since you met her. Well, I'm glad that we connected through TikTok. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff we locked in now. I'm a support right as soon as we get off this and make sure that I get a raffle ticket, show love to the People's Podcast. Thank you for coming on. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. Thank you very much, Shona P. Thank you all very much for watching. We got a great lineup today. Interviews at 3, 5, 7, and 9. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming on, man.
Peace.
Peace.